We have we just lost Tom. We have our next session coming up in just a couple of seconds. We will start at the top of the hour. Tom, I see you there again. How are you, Tom and Ardis?
I'm well. How are you, Kristen?
Well, thank you.
Doing great, Christian. Thank you.
Good. And Tom, I know that you're traveling, so you're joining us from a hotel room.
That's right. Beautiful Janesville, Wisconsin. Actually, I like it here a lot.
Well, good. And Ardis, we are delighted to have you as well.
Absolutely.
I will go ahead and start teeing up our session for this afternoon. Thank you all for joining our final session today. As a reminder, I wanted to remind you to please tune in for our amazing session tomorrow. And at this time, it's my honor to introduce two of my favorite collaborators who are going to tell you about an amazing program that they have supporting veterans to find their next careers in food and agriculture. And it's of particular importance to me that we also connect this session with how our industry can show up to support our veterans as one of the dimensions of diversity that Together We Grow is really interested in advancing. So with that, I'll introduce Tom. Tom Hebert is of the Bayard Ridge Group. He provides federal governmental affairs services to clients on matters involving agricultural policy, the environment, federal budget and appropriations, research, and energy. In this capacity, he has proudly worked with and served agricultural producers, their trade associations, and agribusinesses and related institutions. We also are joined by Colonel Ardis Porter, a retired U.S. Army military officer with more than 30 years of military leadership experience in senior and executive roles. Currently, Ardis is employed with the Agricenter International and serves as the program manager for the Veterans Employed in Technology and Service in Agriculture, or VETSA program. The VETSA program prepares transitioning service members and veterans for careers in the agriculture service and support sectors. In addition, many educational opportunities are available for those interested in pursuing post-secondary training in agriculture. This is one of my favorite programs that we know of from our amazing partners, and so I'm excited that we'll have a chance to share it with everyone today. Tom and Ardis, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. Let me just get this all set up here. Good afternoon, everyone. And Kristen, thank you so much to you for this opportunity to present before your membership. We are very grateful, and we believe in what we're doing and working on here, and we like to share it, but we need help. We're hopeful that this presentation could open the door to some further work together that would be of benefit to the veterans we're trying to assist. So we are helping great people get great jobs in agriculture. And I'm going to speak for a few minutes to introduce the program and how we're going about doing this. And then I'm going to turn this over to Colonel Porter to talk with you about the specific work that he's doing with veterans in the program, and to talk about some of the areas where we would like your assistance if possible. So this is a program called VETSA, Veterans in Agriculture. And we are basically about getting veterans jobs in agriculture by preparing them for agricultural jobs and connecting them to agricultural jobs in the best ways possible. It's a program that's being led by Agricenter International, which is based in Memphis, Tennessee. But Agricenter has brought together partners from the University of Tennessee at Martin and Tennessee State University. And you'll see why these institutions are involved here in a second. And this is being carried out under a grant provided by USDA's National Institute for Food and Agriculture, NIFA, which has a special appropriation from Congress to issue grants to support enhancing ag opportunities for military veterans, a grants program to do that. So what are we doing under this grant that we have received? The grant runs until the end of August of next year, 2023. COVID has slowed us down some over this past year, but we are getting rolling now. And through the work of Colonel Porter, we are in a position to start placing some veterans who are ready for prime time already as they're leaving the service or have recently left the service and are looking for opportunities now and are ready to fill roles in agricultural organizations. But through those educational institutions and Agricenter, we are in a position to do a couple of things. We will provide an Aggie boot camp, a 1 to 2 week orientation for veterans who are coming out of service, who have little or no exposure to agriculture and whose work in agriculture could be enhanced if they were exposed to some of the things that go on at farms. All those institutions have research facilities, teaching farms, testing facilities on which these programs could be carried out. Also, UT Knoxville, UT Martin, Tennessee State can also work to offer 2-year and 4-year degrees to veterans who are looking for college training, but we would couple that with hands-on training in agriculture on our teaching farm facilities, as well as providing them with certifications, training to lead to certifications in various capacities that are important to the agricultural service industries: drone operators, certified crop advisors, certified pesticide applicators, and various certifications in electronics and such. Also, those who want to go beyond that into some kind of graduate degree, included with hands-on training and certification, those institutions are in a position to offer that as well. So Agricenter is based in Memphis. It is a long-standing organization that's worked really in excellent ways with agriculture in this region and throughout the country. Many of you may have had experience with Agricenter. They've got a big working campus where they do research, they do development, they do training, and they do an excellent job of this. And we're fortunate to have them lead this effort. Where are the veterans in agriculture job? Where are we focused on? The NIFA grant that we're working under, many in Congress and USDA, when they conceived of it initially, they thought we're talking about getting veterans ready to own and operate their own farms or ranches. If you have ever known anyone who's tried to break in brand new into farming, you know how terribly hard that is. It is one of the easiest ways to go broke if you don't really know what you're doing. And yet there are tremendous job opportunities in the kinds of services provided to agriculture by your companies. Tremendous opportunities. In terms of the degreed agricultural jobs in companies, the USDA working with Purdue estimated that about 85% of those jobs would be in the agricultural service sector and related industries, doing science and engineering, business and management, communications, various professional activities within firms such as yours. And FFA recently did their own review, and they came up with the top 5 jobs in agriculture coming up. The lead one was drone technologist. I don't know if that was based on research or because they thought it'd be exciting to the high school kids, but they listed as number 1, hydrologists, communicators, food scientists, precision agriculture technologists. The drone example is interesting for us because one of the people that inspired this entire program is a retired general from the Marine Corps, General John Castellaw, who also happens to be a farmer in West Tennessee. And he also happens to have a company called Farm Space, where he provides consulting services to ag operators in the state, providing crop scouting services through the use of drones. And General Castelov makes it a point to hire and train veterans who have a background in aviation and related technologies to become the drone operators and to give them jobs. And he was talking with a group of us and said, why can't we do this through the universities in West Tennessee and the institutions in West Tennessee? And that's exactly what we are trying to do with this grant after General Castelov gave us that prod. So I'm going to turn this over to Colonel Porter and talk a little bit more about the program, about why hiring a veteran can make so much sense, what his experience is with the veterans that he's encountered to this point, and what kind of help we need from you all in order to make this program happen. Colonel Porter.
Thanks, Tom. Tom and Christian, I appreciate you for sharing this foxhole with me. This is a very important mission that's very dear and near to my heart. And I can tell you that from the conversations I've heard all day, Christian, with your colleagues about inclusion, this is a target area that we certainly need to include in our discussion. So why hire a veteran? And I know many of you know all the reasons why, ranging from the leadership that they bring to any team, the devotion to duty, honor, and country, the devotion to duty, honor, and a company, being able to work under some of the toughest conditions, many great examples. So the young lady in that picture with me is one of the first candidates that I recruited. Her name is Brittany. Brittany is a mother of three, went through a terribly bad divorce, became homeless, and somehow was able to get back on her feet. So you want to talk about resiliency? You're looking at it there in that young lady in that picture. So I've been working with Brittany. Brittany has done a lot of online courses. I took her over to, as Tom talked about, with the university has partnered with us. I took her over to the University of Tennessee at Martin this summer. They did a look of her resume, her transcript, and has determined that she could complete any program that they have within the next year. And so Brittany has a desire to work in ag. She also has a desire to further her education. So this program is for people like Brittany, people who have served, people who have fallen on hard times. And so partnering with Together We Grow will help to make this program very successful. So currently we have about 20 candidates, 4 that we've helped enroll in schools. The other piece of it is, so as these transitioning guys and girls are coming out of the military, the first thing that they're looking for are jobs, okay? And so Tom and I have been working very aggressively to build the best approach to helping with some form of job placement for these individuals. They are ready, they are capable. Many of them have different skill sets. Many of them probably have 2 or 3 different skill sets. And so they are ideal for any ag company. The deal has been that we've not had the right sponsorship to help with placing these individuals. And so that's part of what Tom and I are doing with you, is trying to bridge a door, that door that they could at least walk through and have an interview and maybe find a mentor and find someone that could help them along that path of finding employment in agriculture. And here's another piece that I talked with Tom about that most people don't think about. And I shared this with my boss. So a lot of these individuals, as you probably know, have been to combat 2 or 3, 4 or 5 times maybe. And they wrestle with some things that's not seen on the other surface. And I'm a firm believer that agriculture is part of that healing process for these individuals that wrestle with some form of PTSD as it relates to witnessing a battle buddy been injured, even possibly been injured themselves. I think agriculture is part of the answer to help with that group of folks who have served this country, have given a good portion of their lives serving. And why not make an easier process for them as they transition out of the military and look for that new way of life? And oh, by the way, like Brittany, who has determined that agriculture is that way of life for her, I sure would love to be able to have her, once she completes her degree programs, to make a phone call to an ag company and at least have an opportunity to walk through a door and get an interview. So, you know, it's not very easy transition out of the military, because as you think about it, that's a community within itself. And many of these individuals, Tom, Christian, and others, have never had an interview. They've never had a need to have an interview. And so we need folks that will help teach them how to dress for an interview, how to conduct in an interview, but they also need someone that will help mentor them as they start that new chapter in their lives to become civilians, but also to become productive individuals in the ag sector. Having transitioned out of the Army 3 years ago, I would tell you that there's a great deal of anxiety with it. And oh, by the way, I transitioned out as a senior officer, and there was still some anxiety with it. And so my heart goes out to these young kids, in my mind, that have no idea how to maneuver through, and Tom touched on it. The ag community is a great community, but I'm sure that there's a code sometimes that has to be broken to get inside of that community. And these kids have all the skill sets, they have the leadership, but they don't know how to present that right handshake to break some of these codes. So I guess what we're pleading to you is that you help us to allow these opportunities for some of these individuals, or for these individuals that are coming out. So the program essentially is designed to capture those service members who are transitioning out. And it also reaches out to those veterans who's been out 3 or 4 or 5 years that have an interest to pursue a career in agriculture. And as Tom talked about, the other piece of it is for those individuals who didn't have the opportunity to go to college after they graduate from high school, well, we assist them with getting into college and studying agriculture. So I'm headed over tomorrow to visit with 4 of the guys that I got into UT Martin to see how they're doing and just to encourage them along the way. But I will tell you, this is a very great program. Tom and I are trying to make it so successful that it becomes an enduring piece of what we do at Agriculture International. The grant, as Tom has said, it goes through August of 23, but I'm very confident that we could keep it very viable so that it sustains beyond August 23. So in a nutshell, that's pretty much the program. We're happy to take any questions, talk more about the program, talk about whatever it is that you would like to know about the program.
Let me add a little bit more, because I think it'll help these folks understand what's possible here. Word will go out like wildfire through the veteran community or the current serving military personnel who are approaching that point of leaving the service. Word will go out and spread very quickly if they know that there are serious opportunities to get a job or get prepared for either of those in agriculture. And it'll make Colonel Porter's job of recruiting people very much easier. It's just really hard for people, as he was saying, to see their path out of the service and into the working world, and to know that there's a path in something like agriculture that could result in a decent job or in a professional job, perhaps even, will be very attractive. But there are people in the service right now who today, when they leave the service, could step into basic positions: truck drivers, materials handling, deliveries, food service. You know, they don't need any training to be able to fill those jobs. Colonel Porter's in a position to talk with the military folk helping with these transitions at bases around the region to help bring those people into jobs that you might need filling today. But beyond that, then are people who really need, more exposure to agriculture and perhaps training to get professional certifications to fill those jobs that you also need that require such training. And that's what our institutions, the universities, are prepared to do. And it would be tremendous if we could tell them that there are companies there that want to offer you at least some guidance and support as you go through that process. Hopefully, they would commit to giving you, to qualified persons, at least an interview, a shot at a job for which they've trained. And of course, we would love it if some of you wanted to actually identify veterans that you might want to mentor or sponsor through this program, knowing that you're developing someone who could become really important to your organization down the road. All of that is possible, and we stand ready. And the universities that we listed, we all stand ready to try and work with the agricultural companies to make this happen as successfully as possible for the veterans and for you all.
I love that so much. And I'm curious, from a nuts and bolts perspective, how our companies can get involved. So if you're looking for some of that sponsorship or guidance, what is the time commitment? What does the lift look like? How can people best support your veterans?
Well, I would say, Kristen, that we would actually like to talk to your people and develop that answer together.
Right.
So we'll take whatever positive support we can get, as little or as much. But it would be wonderful if some of your members wanted to sit down with us and map out a program that would work for them and work for us. If they have an interest in finding veterans for all the reasons that veterans would make tremendous employees, we want to be in the business of helping them fill those positions, and we'd like to come up with a program that works for them. And I don't see us laying that out right now because, honestly, we need help in figuring that out. And I think that, this is the kind of crew that could very well do that with us.
Yes, I agree with that, Christian. I've worked with a couple of local companies, but that's a short fix for those that are interested in coming to Memphis, Tennessee. But it's not the answer for those who want to go back to a small town in Colorado and take those skill sets that they have acquired through the military and take it back to home and put it to use. So we'd rather have a long-lasting relationship with companies that's kind of that's tied into the program, but it's a definite process, not a quick, here's a resume. Is he qualified? Is she qualified? No, she's not. Yes, he is. Put in work. Much rather have something a little more concrete than that.
What have you seen that's most successful for companies who partner in terms of the kinds of support that they can add, and sort of related, how to best make for a successful support of the veterans that you're working with?
Do you have an answer to that, Colonel?
I don't, Christian. We don't have. So one company has made a commitment to support this veteran program in Memphis. Now, so as I work with the installation over at Fort Campbell, Kubota has started a training program that puts a person through a 2-week certificate type program and would place that person at one of their facilities. And so Tom and I are talking with the individual who kind of helped design that program over at Fort Campbell. We owe him a follow-up conversation to maybe get the framework on how that all came to play and how it works best for other companies that are interested. So
I love that. I think
so. There's kind of a chicken and an egg challenge here, Kristen. So we want veterans to come in to the program and help meet the needs of companies that need staff and professionals. But for the veterans to come in the program, they know that the companies need to be there that will engage with them. So I think uh, the prerequisite here is a willingness to say, we are going to talk to your veterans. And if our company has jobs, we can't, at a minimum, we can't guarantee anyone anything other than we will definitely take a look at your skills and capabilities. And if we have something that matches with where you're going, we will enter into in good faith conversations with you about what your future might look like. And if it helps us, we'll do it. And if it helps you, we'll do it. But if there's not a match, it's not a match. But a willingness to engage in that kind of dialogue to let people know that agriculture is there on the other side, wanting to support them and get and pull them in if they work. And if there's other better ways to do that, we'd love to learn about it. And we're certainly flexible, which is certainly a battlefield skill that I know Colonel Porter's has learned over his career.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So what I am hearing is that the best way our industry partners can support this effort is, one, making a commitment to at least talking with, interviewing your veterans in the program. And secondly, ideally helping with some of those sponsorship, training, interview techniques, some of those transition into the civilian world components that are really critical to success on the job, and something where we can collaborate between industry and programs like yours to make sure that we're not missing this really important pocket of talent of people who have amazing skills, all of the things you can't teach people about fortitude and adaptability.
That's right.
And just meeting you guys as partners to flesh out some of the other things.
And I've thought this could be very helpful as a very refined point that would represent both a commitment that respects limits. And that would be for us to be able to tell the veterans, this array of companies have committed to giving you an interview if you get training that qualifies you for positions that they have available. Not that they'll give you the job, but that they'll commit to getting you an interview if you complete the trainings and the certifications and the skills qualifications that allow them to be considered for a position. That commitment to give them an interview, to give them a shot, I think would mean a lot to the veterans and our ability to recruit them into the program. And my guess is that companies are going to start meeting individuals that they say, you know, we really want to hire you, and we're going to figure out a way to make you a success, you know. But that's a commitment you can't make until you actually know somebody. But a commitment to an interview to a qualified individual that's gone through this program, I think that would go a long way without overextending the companies and their programs. And that's one suggestion.
Yeah. Can you reiterate at the end of the program what kind of skills and exposure you feel like your veterans will have?
Oh, Kristen, it's an array of them. It's everything. Seriously, I would tell you, any individual soldier probably has 2 or 3 different skill sets, from HR to logistics to you pick it, right? So outside of your specialty guys, your doctors, your lawyers, your aviators, most of them have, I mean, they're adaptable. I mean, they're very quick to learn. But the preponderance of the junior folks are your mechanics, your wrench turners, those type guys. Your officers are logistical type guys, HR type guys, IT type guys. And there are some non-commissioned officers also that have those skill sets as well. So, but I would tell you seriously, most of them have at least a couple of skill sets, qualified skill sets.
One of the things we could do, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Colonel, but we could give you a list of the certifications that the military personnel acquire in order to qualify for positions they
Oh,
hold in
absolutely.
the military itself.
Yeah.
And it will go from everything from cook and chief bottle washer all the way to the accountants, to the HR directors, to the electronics, to software design, to tactical implementation, logistics. There's certifications in the military for all of those things. And many of these people come out with those and they're ready to roll.
Christian, I think that's a great question, but I think what also should be a part of that discussion, and that's kind of what we started out, why hire a veteran? It's that leadership that they bring, that you just don't find in the common person. They bring, you got young people who have been tasked and responsible for billions of dollars of equipment, managing it, responsible for it, securing it. And so they come out with a wealth of experience that most peers their age don't have. And so, that leadership that they bring is, that's unmeasurable in my mind.
I agree. Tom and Ardis, I can't thank you enough for joining us today. I know that this is the first of many conversations, and I know that we share, not just because Together We Grow cares about this facet of diversity, but also because I think we have talked about this before. We share this common goal of careers with purpose that are in service to something bigger. And your veterans have been doing that their entire adult lives. And this seems like such a beautiful way to continue that service to that bigger ideal and a bigger purpose. Thank you for the work you're doing, and thank you for joining us today.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. We appreciate it.
And that closes out our day one annual meeting discussion. Thank you for joining us today. I do hope that you'll tune in and join us again tomorrow. Our first open session tomorrow is on beating burnout with Dr. Jimenez, followed by sessions with USDA, social media strategy that inspires the next generation, critical race theory with the renowned Dr. Lori Patton Davis, innovative strategies with National 4-H, and a closing session with the wonderful Dr. Bolden Tiller from Tuskegee University. We'll see you there. Thank you.